welcome back here to another video tutorial. Today I will show you how to create buttons, dynamic buttons within a design library. I showed it in one tutorial before, but this was in German language, and the wish came out to do one tutorial in English, and so here we go. First, I have to say one great feature in new Sketch version, Sketch 51.2, is that you now can sync text styles and layer styles within the library. This is really cool and really helpful. Before, could do this with some plugins, but now it's native in Sketch version, and this is really great. This is my library. This is called the test library, and now I will show you how to create buttons like this, where you can adjust text and button will automatically adjust. Button longer, for example. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Now it's not so noisy. Okay. And I have here buttons with the icon on the right side, and I have just a button with text, and I have here with buttons with different states, with hover pressed and disabled. And now let's start from scratch. Go to a new file. One thing I would recommend to you is to install two plugins. I use these two plugins for creating my buttons. This is one called the Relabel Button plugin. Yes, you can find it here on GitHub. And the other one is called Paddy plugin. You can also find it here on GitHub. I'll leave the links here below. I'll show it here to you on the GitHub side. This is one called the Paddy plugin. You can read all these explanations and how it works here. And the other one is called the Relabel Button plugin. One thing I would recommend why to install these both plugins, because sometimes Paddy doesn't work, and then I use this one, the Relabel Button plugin, as a backup, because Relabel Button plugin always works, always. One thing you can do here is that you can't change the text in the overrides. Yeah, this is the one disadvantage, but it always works. I will show it to you now. Okay, then let's start here from scratch. Okay, I have here. Have a look here. I have here buttons with white text. Yeah. And therefore I go back to my other file. I go adjust the background color. Here I took the text from the library, yeah, and I say see here, this is test library, and then I choose P1, bold left, and then I name it button. This is button text with line height with a size of 60 pixel and a line height of 24, and make a group out of it. Group it. Call this button. And then I press Ctrl Alt P or go to plugins. Paddy here, and this enter padding for selection. And now I want to have a padding. This padding goes clockwise. Yeah, I want a padding from top 8 and then on the right 16. This padding goes 8, then on the bottom 8, and on the left also 16. So now, bam, the button is here. Okay, now I have 8 on the top, on the bottom, and 16 on the right and on the left. This is a button with the size of 40 pixels. This is nice for working on 8-point grids. What I now do is make a symbol out of it. Yeah. Then I click to create a symbol, or this is my shortcut, Command Y, and call it button. And then go to the symbols page. One thing I can here do is turn off the background color. And I'll go to symbols page. And what I want to do now is make out of the background also a symbol. Yeah. Then I also press Y as a Command Y. This is my shortcut for creating symbol, and I call this shape. Okay, here is my shape, and here I have to what I have to do now is, here I have the shape called background with the spacing of bracket 8 and 16. I have to copy this one and go here back to my shape and paste it here. So, and here I delete this one. Okay. What I want to do now is include color. Yeah, include color for my shape. And this I do here. I go to my symbols icon, and then I choose test library color, and then I took here diva-e cyan, for example. Now I have to mask this. I have to bring it on the perfect size here, and this one I can call now color, and I got all the overrides from my color in the library. And here, for better indication, I press this and I go to favorites, palette. So I close this, and I can see here now I have this little icon of the color palette and called color. And now you can see here my button changed here automatically the color, and I have here this shape. And one thing I want to do now is create different shapes. Okay, then I duplicate this and go to my background and set this radius to oh, one thing I have forgotten here is to mask this. Here on the first shape I select these both layers, color and background, and then go to mask. Yeah, and here also go to mask, and I can see now it is masked. Okay, and I call this shape here, add a slash, call this shape 0, and go here to go to this shape, add a slash, and call this 100. So, and now I want to have another shape, for example, a button style of a radius of 4 pixels. Then I go here back to this one called here mask and set the radius to 4 pixels. Here I can say, and here I will rename it to shape 4. I call it shape 4. Okay. So now I have one button with 3 shapes and color overrides. What I do now is just give me a little test, and here load this button on my documents here, and I can see I have here my text called button. I will change it here. I name it text, and I can see it here. Okay, here's text, then shape, and then I have the ability to change the shape here to 100% or to 4 pixels. Yeah, and I can also change colors from my library here called test library, and this is fine, this works. Okay, then let us test if it will automatically adjust. Call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 button, and I can see yes, it works. It will expand, and it also works here with the shortcut from the Relabel Button plugins. This is Command J, and I can here change it back to button, and this is fine. Okay, once again, Command G, and 1, 2, 3, clan button. Yeah, this is good. This works, and here I can also change it. Yeah, this is fine. Recommend to install both plugins, because sometimes I had it. Sometimes Paddy doesn't work. Then I have to deinstall Paddy and reinstall it again, and this is sometimes a little bit annoying. And here for this I have two plugins, and this is the best backup for this. Okay, then I have this button. Nice. What I want to do now is here to integrate this little outline here. You can see. I go back here to my other file. What I will do now is just select all of these 3, then duplicate these layers, and I do it again. I copy this and set here, paste here. I do this because now I have no copy at the end. You can see it's just the same naming. Okay, what I do now is change these from the size, because I now want to have another override option, and not I get the overrides with the same size, and now I have to change here the size, and I change it here to 16. Adjust and resize to fit. Oops, yeah, it's okay, it's fine. And what I do now is change the wording here. Therefore, I took the rename it plugin, go to rename it and find and replace, and I will find shape and rename it with border. border, and then rename, and I see, okay, border shape is replaced now with border. Okay, and here I delete the masks, color mask, yeah, and now I want to change from fill to border, and in my case I want to use a border of 10% of black. Okay, I have to select all of these. Let's do it again. So, and then I go to my color, go to the color picker and choose black, and then I go to 10%. So, and what I have to do now is I have to import my border symbol into the button here. Then I go to symbols, document, I go to border, and I choose here the zero border, and I bring it here up and expand it here, bring it on the right size. And what I do now is I will test it here again if it works. This is one thing I always do. I test my symbols directly on the symbols page and not on the page here. This is one click less for me, yeah, not to go on the page and go back to the symbols. For this I just import here my button, yeah, and I can see, okay, I have here the border, and what I do now is here I rename it here. I call it just border, not border with the style, and I see here, okay, here stands border, and I can change here the border, or I can set it to none, but I want it now here, and I want here the border 0 for the 0 button here, and I can test it again if it works. I took here the relabel one, button test. Okay, and I can see, yes, it works. It expand, and I also can do it here, and it works too. Just let's change, duplicate this, and make another instance here on the symbols page, and change here the color to gold, and you can see, yes, it works. And I have here these buttons, these two buttons. Yeah, okay. This is fine, this works, and what I will do now is I will create one button with an icon on the right hand side, and what I do here is just duplicate this button and rename it here, and I call this button button slash icon slash right. Okay, and this one I call button default, or this I call it button big, for example. Okay. Okay. One thing I do it here is now I want the button includes the I want to include the icon. Then I have to go to this button folder, yeah, button folder, and then I want to import an icon from the library. Okay, then I go to here test icons, and now I have here the line height of 24, and therefore I import an icon of 24 pixels. I can, for example, let's take the arrow forward. So, and then I have to took the icon and bring it here in the button folder. Oops. And now I can see now it grows again. Okay, for this I go to the eye. I don't want to see it here. Then I can measure. Okay, I want here 8 pixels from button to icon, and what I don't so like is the distance here from 16. What I have to do now, I want to have from the icon to the right hand side also 8 pixel distance. What I have to do now is here go to my shape layer. What I can do, can directly change it here, yeah, or I can press again Control Alt, and then I have here 8 from top. Now I have 16 from right clockwise. I want to change this to 8. Then I have 8 on the bottom and 16 on the left hand side, and I will change this here, and I can see, oops, yeah, this has shrink, this has auto updated here, and here you can see the values 8, 8, 8. This is 8, 8, so 8 from the top, 8 from the right, 8 from the bottom, and 16 from the left. This is one thing I want to have now, and what I have to do now here, you can see I have to resize to fit, and this works fine. One thing I will change directly here is the color of the icon. The color of the icon, I got it here because I've once embedded the color to the icons and changed it here to the white. And you can see one thing I have to do here is also go to the icon and bring it on the resize options on the right and on the top, and here fix the size of both. Now I will test it here again. Document, button, icon, right? Okay. This is fine. Then I can see I have here the icon. Okay, what I do here is change also the name. I call it just icon and bring up here a little emoji. Once again, I press Control, Command, and Space. And bring here an icon, and double click, and you can see here I have icon, I have the color of the icon, I have the adjustment. What I can also do here, I have the adjustment of the text and the shape. Maybe I want to bring the text up, therefore I have to bring it up here on the layer, and I can see, okay, now I have text. I can adjust, I have the icon, I have the color, and the shape. And let's try if it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Button. And I see, yes, it works. I can go here and press Command G and call this just next page, for example. Okay, this is fine, and I can also change here my style and my style of my shape, or the 4 pixel. This is nice. One thing I've forgotten here is to include the border symbols for this. No, I don't have fog on. I've just it was not on, and therefore I have to go to the border and bring it on the right size, and I can see it here. Now it works. I have here just to change the border and bring it up to here. No, oops, to 0. No, sorry, to 4 pixels. Yeah, and it works. What you can also do, you can include states here. Let's duplicate this here. Again, paste here. Just delete here. Just delete this one. And here, the color stars. Bring this up here to 0. Okay. And here, just name this. Just rename this. Call this state / hover. Call this pressed. Okay. Then for my hover state, I took white, color of white, and for example 10% white, and pressed. I took the color black. This is good, and call opacity of 12%. So what I will do now again is change the size again to have the overrides. Okay, do it again. Just go to adjust and resize. Go to 41. Adjust content on resize to fit. Now, okay, it works. What I have to do now is to include the state to my shape. Yeah. And I go to here, to the shape 0, and include this shape state hover. Okay, bring it up here and mask it again. Bring it on the right side. And do this again for the other shapes. I had to do this before, but now I have to do it later. What I can do now is copy here this style and paste it here. Here state, but I call this here also state, not hover, state. Paste it here. Call state. Okay. Now let's see. I have here the button, and the state is on hover. Now it's on pressed. I can duplicate this one and this one and this one, and set this one goes to state none. This is the default state. This is the state hover, and this is the state pressed. You can see I have one button. I can change my shapes, and which I can change the color again. Here, oops. Let's change here the color to, for example, the gold. And I have one symbol with 3 states: default, pressed, hover, sorry, and pressed. Yes, this was the tutorial. I hope it was useful to you. You can download this file here. I will leave it on the description, and you can download the file. And I hope this video was useful to you, and see you then on the next video. Bye bye. Have a good time. Ciao.